Good evening from day 12 of the flight instructor course. And honestly, what a day. Today has been all about stalling. For those of us that fly, we know that stalling is something that is an absolute life skill. It's also something that actually we don't spend an awful lot of time about. And one of my reflections, I suppose, sitting at the end of the course today, is that having flown a couple of hundred hours worth now, I probably haven't done enough stalling, if I'm honest. I'm one of these people that when I fly, I try and do some bits and bobs, and I will do the odd PFL here, or I'll go out and I'll do a half an hour of general handling, or I'll go and I'll practice a stall. But actually, if I think from, other than my SEP renewal and my SEP skills test, I've probably only done a handful of stalls in the last couple of years. I probably quadrupled my stall total today just from doing exercise 10B part 2, which is a follow-on from the lesson that we did yesterday. Yesterday 10B part 1, stalling in the clean configuration. Today was starting to put together those real fundamental building blocks of stalling in what essentially is going to become a circuit context. So it's looking at the influences and effects of power, flap and angle of bank on stalling, how the aircraft responses are different when you start to introduce those variables, and then ultimately ending up with 2 scenarios for the student to learn. That is essentially the base to final turn stall, that kind of coffin corner where you get distracted on the base to final turn. All of a sudden you find yourself nose high in an overbanked condition, trying to get yourself back to the centre line of the runway as you've been distracted, and you find yourself in a stall condition. The other one is that kind of finals configuration where you've got in the Cessna 150 30 degrees of flapping, you're relatively slow, you're relatively low, you stall the aircraft, you need to do a standard stall recovery, cleaning away the drag flap and going. Today has probably been, if I'm honest, the most challenging day of the flight instructor course so far. And I didn't anticipate it. I thought stalling, that's going to be easy. But it's taken virtually every inch of my spare capacity today, and that of my course colleague. Actually, we're just back from dinner. We decided that after the day we've both had, we decided that we would go and get something to eat, share a beer, and just have a little bit of a debrief with each other and a decompress. I'm actually really lucky. The colleague that I have on the course with me is a absolutely fabulous gentleman. We share a lot of similarities, although we're from a different background, and we get on really well. And I think that has made the whole course process significantly easier for me, having somebody that I trust, that I can speak to. We enjoy mutual flying together. We went off today, probably did some of the most challenging mutual flying that we've done. The weather's been really windy. We flew off to Gampston. I actually did my qualifying cross country into Gampston a fair few years ago, and although I keep intending to go back there and take Mrs. C back to Gampston because the food at the cafe is to die for, it's just never transpired that way. It's either been weather, or it's been aircraft availability, or the whole range of things that usually stuff up your flying plans in the UK. So I went back in there today and ended up landing in a really sporty crosswind. Probably the most challenging landing that I've ever done. Now, I always go into a landing with the view that it's a go around until my wheels touch the floor. That's a mental view that I always have. Every time I do an approach, it's an approach to go around. If I happen to land at the end of it, then excellent. If not, we do the go around. It's not a problem. We'll come back and have another bite of the day. There are a few occasions as I was doing that approach where that we're going to go around here drumbeat was starting to build in my head. But thankfully, we did and executed a safe crosswind landing, most certainly at the upper level of my personal limits. One of the things I'm finding about this course is that it gives you an opportunity to really challenge and develop your personal limits. We're doing things that are growing me as a pilot daily. But equally, one of the advantages that we have of flying with somebody who's got tens of thousands of hours of flying in a Cessna 150 is they're able to demonstrate and teach what the aircraft is actually capable of. And the Cessna 150 is actually a fabulously designed aircraft for a trainer. It does an awful lot of stuff awfully well. You know, it's benign. If you actually stall a Cessna 150, it will pretty much recover itself. You know, you can rely on it to look after you. You know, it will descend well if you put it into the right conditions. You can slow it down to a really relatively slow speed and still control it effectively. It's got good aileron authority across the whole speed range. You know, it's just a really well designed aircraft. So I don't want to get all blue-eyed about it being the greatest aircraft in the world, because it's got its limitations. But really being able to understand the aircraft's limitations and how they apply to your limitations as a pilot is probably one of my greatest takeaways from this journey. Just been watching the weather forecast for the next couple of days, and Simon Keeling, sorry, put my teeth back in, Simon. Simon's weekend weather update. Certainly some challenging weather over the next couple of days, so I'm hoping we can get some time airborne. We'll just have to see how that goes. But into the early part of next week is my last few days on the course. So I have to head back on to my day job from the middle of next week. I work a fixed rotation on the day job. So on Wednesday, I'll head back off to work for a couple of weeks. And I actually have my assessment of competence date now booked in for the middle part of April. So I'll go away to work, do my couple of weeks of work, come home, a little bit of refreshing, a little bit of finalisation and any hours that I need left on the course, a bit of practice, and then fingers crossed complete my assessment of competence and hopefully walk away with my flight instructor rating, ready to start the real job of learning to teach people to fly. Because the reality of this flight instructor course, it gives you the skills, but exactly like driving a car, it's the start of your learning journey when you actually get out there by yourself. Anyway, really long day. I'm actually a little bit pooped, if I'm honest. So I'm looking forward to getting myself sorted out for the night, getting tucked up and seeing what tomorrow brings. Thanks for following along on the journey, and join me for day 13 tomorrow.